first, I had a little accident yesterday, so I have a little swelled lip, if you haven't noticed, but hopefully it don't affect my speech too much. And I ain't gonna tell you because you wouldn't believe it if I told you. All right, so today,
Keep it real. Julius Randall came over here looking for me.
You better be looking for the guy that made his son cry. That's what he better be looking for. All right, so let's just jump right into it today. All right, today with 20 games to go, we sit 2 games under 500. 5 games separate us at number 8 and the number 11 seed. So we would have to have a total breakdown to lose those 5 games, even though I don't want to be 9th or 10th, but we would have to have a breakdown. But then still, we're only 2 games from 4th place. And I'm inclined to believe that we are a 4th place team. Like, you take away some of those closing games, right, which can always go either way, but some of those closing games was ours, you know. So then that just made me think yesterday that the good news and the bad news of of the Knicks. And then the good news is we now know who we are, right? And then which is that we don't have a team, we don't have a closer. And then the bad news is that we have to come to grips with the fact that this is who we are. So we got to either rely on somebody being hot in order for us to win a game down the stretch. In those last 3-4 minutes of a game, and in particularly in those last 9-10 seconds. So we don't have a closer. So depending on whatever kind of play is called, like we might as well just go with the old-fashioned call a play ball movement to get the last open shot. Unless, I only hope in that scenario, because Randall is who he is, he's going to carry us through the game. RJ is who he is through the course of the game. And then most can happen is that somebody can try to maybe turn into Big Shot Bob, which we don't have, right? In that sense. They don't do nothing all game, but at the end of the game, they hit you with that last 3 to win the game. So, well, I mean, even him, that's, again, he don't do that all the time.
That's what I'm saying. He did it on us.
Yeah, but Derrick Rose to me seems like the best closer I think that we got, because if worse come to worse, you can isolate him one-on-one, and you can run it that way. He can get to the bucket at any time he wants. So now it's a matter of, is he going for the shot or is he going to dish it out? But at least he can, you know, you can almost kind of say Quigley, but Quigley is not, you don't really know what he's going to do. But at least Derrick Rose going downhill, because we got to do something different than what we've been doing, because it's not going to change our situation on how we play the game. Tibbs opt for defense, big men defense, 2 of them when we had the 2 open players. Now, granted, they're only 10-day contracts, but that just goes to show he's not wrinkling anything. He's staying with who he is, and that's going to be defense and rim protection, you know, to take us wherever we're going to go at this point. But we could have still maybe took one of those, and maybe it's not a real offensive player that was available, but I'm pretty sure there had to have been a shooter available. Somebody with a consistent shooter that can come into the game, even if it's 5 minutes at a time, and knock down some key threes to either get us back into a game or keep us ahead. But at the path that we're going, we're just really just going to be relying on the hot hand of Randall and RJ. That's the path that we headed with this team. So that's why I say the good news and the bad news. We know that nobody's coming, right?
Even in saying that, I'm trying to see, where did we fall apart at just playing as a unit? Like right now, we're playing as like individual entities now, instead of just playing as that unit we were playing as. Well, so it's like when things start going good, somebody feels like they have to take over. When things go bad, somebody feels like they have to take over. So it's almost like another offensive disconnect. On defense, they got it covered. But some reason why the offense, there's like a disconnect between, like, yeah, Randall and what's the name are better. RJ is better, but it's something.
I mean, they're moving the ball. The ball is moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do go into that. We do go into that stupor where, sometimes they just feel like, I'm gonna do it. I don't mind somebody being waved off, but when it comes down to them situations, penetrate and dish it out, and then move the ball to the next man. Remember, there was one play in the fourth quarter. Everybody touched it, and I forgot who hit the ball who hit the three in the corner. I think it was RJ. But it went inside. It came out around the perimeter. Everybody touched it, even though it was hesitant on some of the swings. But that might be our best way of closing the game if we're not going to isolate D Rose.
Is Woodson gone already, or he's still there?
Yeah, Woodson's gone, and that's
he's gone already. So, because I said to my boy, I noticed these close games now. With Woodson gone, he kind of was winning. As soon as Woodson left, it's like it went down. I'm not saying he's the sole reason why we're losing, but something changed in that little transaction right there.
Yeah, but our record in 3 games or less, we're like 2-8 or 2-9. So that he had to been there for that. Because he's defense too. All at this point they may be doing is they're calling out the play, but that last second shot, that's even to get to that last minute, because you might can get some separation, so it don't come down to a last shot, and that's the part too where I'm talking about where in those 2-3 minutes, give the ball to Rose and isolate, because that's really what the other teams do anyway, and then swing it if need be. But it's not like we coming down at the end of the game, and yeah, maybe Woody had something to do with that. Who knows? But it's not like we coming down at the end of the game.
He could have been the guy that talks to the players, and they didn't really have to do it. Now there's just nobody there to do it.
Well, that's the other thing I was thinking about is that we have another open roster spot, but it's a assistant coach roster spot, but no offensive minded. And Woody's not that either. No offensive-minded assistant coach is coming in here this late in the season. And if we had that type of a guy that Tibbs would have to trust, so that in them close moments of the game, we know where the ball is going. We got something going. Because we're not even really going to the hot hand. Because that even the last shot, Bergeron could have got. The past couple of days. So Randall has proven that he's our guy, but being our guy, like LeBron made a living off dishing off that last shot, because that's not his game. He go the whole 47 minutes and whatever seconds, but then sometimes he have to make sure that ball get into the right hand.
Because I got something to say about that one.
Listen, we went through this the other night. Go ahead and say it, but you can't discredit what Randall
No, I'm not
brings
going to
to
talk
our
about
team.
discredit. I'm going to talk about, let's go with the Celtics. You talking about throwing it over to that last guy because you're not the guy. So my thing is, if we're down 5 or 3 or whatever the case may be, there was a sequence. When the technology get better, we can point this out. But there was a sequence when Kyrie Irving, you could say one of the stars of the Nets, come down and shook Randall up and scored in his face. There's nothing you can do about that. As a basketball player, Randall's right now the face of the Knicks. Like they put all their credit and power on Randall. Randall comes down the next play. I think RJ Barrett gives Randall the ball. He gets it in the high post. He doesn't really know what to do with Kyrie, so he throws it right back to RJ. RJ then proceeds, to do a dribble move and dribble it out of bounds. But my thing is, you couldn't try to. I would have been happy if you just tried to take Kyrie. Because you wasn't going to do nothing anyway. Just try to take Kyrie. That's my problem with Randall. You give it to RJ, he's going to try to make something happen. You give it to Quickly, he's going to try to make something happen. You give it to Randall.
He don't get credit in that situation, Joey, because in the other time, okay, it was Kyrie, and I know the sequence you're talking about, and when he threw that ball back, it was something where he must not have felt comfortable.
I'm talking about that's every time.
Nah, he don't do that every time.
I could point that out like 5. Me and my boy was talking about that. But I could point that out 5 times, and it's like, yeah, you're right. You see it. Like, he does that a lot.
His problem sometimes is he don't
but then he get it. We down 2, And now you want to get the ball in the post and try to go get the foul. But you could have did that 5 or 6 plays ago. You could have put that pressure on him 5 or 6 plays ago. You could have get Kyrie in foul trouble. Now he don't really want to touch you. You could have did something.
But that's also where, in these situations where offensive-minded coaching will come into play in those type of situations. Because I look at the other night when KD came back, right? Now he's already an excellent shooter, but his first play of the game was coming off a curl and hit right on the dime by Kyrie. Now he already shoots good, so the play was for him to come off and get a clear, wide open look. That's a play call. So that's what I mean by them certain situations. You know, we need to put our guys in them type of situations. Now it seemed like at the past couple of games, the way it was going with Randall and Bullock, and Bullock coming off, you know, of a little screen or something like that, or a curl, and the ball is right there, and he's knocking it down because he's a rhythm type of a shooter. So in those situations, that's the exact same thing that we need. If we don't have a closer, then let's at least create a spot where the shooter can be wide open. I'd rather miss that, because even the last shot that Randall took, to me, that's like after the timeout, like that's what we got. And it's really for 3 games, even though we won one of them. It's like, yeah, okay, as much as Randall's helping us, he's not a closer. It's just that if he's hot at that moment and it go in. So let's help the shooters get open. You know, let's bring somebody off, you know, Burke or Bullock, even though Burke did have a last-second gas at it, but let's bring somebody off of a screen somewhere where they just wide open, and then let's live with that.
Yeah, you got it.
But just to dribble around, just to dribble around and pray for an opening, which happened the last few games that we lost in closing seconds. That's the part that hurt to me. But even with all of that said, we still in the hunt. Now I'd rather be at least 6 than 8. You know.
And then real quick, shout out to my boy Eon. He pointed out, which I agree, is Obi Toppin right at this moment is probably getting too much minutes. They should just give it to Knox. Because at least Knox is, and I've been saying that too, he does hit most of his shots, even though he'll go on like a missing streak. But he'll hit that corner 3. He'll hit that open 3. He's not really going to hurt. Obi Toppin, I don't know. It's like he lifts weights in the gym and he comes to the court.
But I mean,
and he's like trying to figure out how hard or how soft to shoot it.
Yeah, but I'd rather stay with Obi, because at least Derrick Rose is looking for him. But keep him around the basket. The only reason why I say that is because Knox, and you know I'm a Knox guy, but I'm like, I feel bad for him. Yeah, bring him in the game, but when you bring him in, he's a shooter. So bring him in with the presence in mind that these are the shots we're gonna find him. Don't just throw him out there, you know, while RJ and Burke and Randall just doing their thing. No, bring him in for those few minutes, and this is what we're gonna do for you. Because he's proved that, you know, he can hit open shots, and he's also a rhythm shooter. So let's do that. Like we're wasting him and Obi on the offensive side of the ball. We're wasting both of them, and I don't see why. When we got Quigley, Burke, and Rose, and we had that for a few seconds where we had Knox and Obi out there last week for a short spell. I thought that was going to be something where all 3 guards would be looking for them.
Yeah, I kind of.
But it was the same thing.
I mean, all right, and then just to shift gears a little bit, you was right about the whole Randall thing when we spoke on the phone. I feel like the centers should also get penalized too. There's too many rebounds, second chance rebounds for the other team.
Yeah,
that is crazy. And then speaking with Obi and Knox, maybe they should get the ball a little bit in their element. There's a whole bunch of little things that they got to do.
Yeah.
Like it is coaching at this point, because like when I'm looking at the team, it's like there's no way other teams should just be blowing us out or these close games should be happening. Like there's a lot of little things they need.
Well, Tibbs' focus is defense, so a lot is being left up to the players to make the decisions. And as good as we're playing as a team, key decisions aren't being made. And now he's getting into that thing of the season where now it's starting to hurt us. Because we got, with the 20 games to go, 12 is at home, 8 is away. That's not even a benefit to us because we play just as good on the road. And so I think it was our next 11 games, 9 of them are at home. I think in our next 11. So that right there, that should give us some separation. But we lose at home the way we will lose on the road.
Yeah, I'm not killing myself over it because, like I said, I think the Knicks fans, I see where we're split at. I think one half of the Knicks fans, like myself, is we seen what the potential of the Knicks and they exceeded our expectations. So like, I really didn't even think they was gonna get to the playoffs when the start of the season started.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they was just gonna hover around where the playoffs could be. Even before they made that new rule, maybe we was gonna get into the playing game. I felt like that's where we was gonna be at. They exceeded that expectation, so that's why we're going crazy. Then there's the other half of the Knicks fans that are like, no, this is where we could be. But that's all we've been doing. This is where we could be. This is where we could be. And we driving ourselves crazy. And we're not looking at, these are really the players that we got. Like,
I know, but
like our rookies exceed our expectations. RJ Barrett is not getting enough credit. Yeah, he got to be more consistent. But maybe he's going to get way better than that. Obi Toppin, like, he's a rookie. Come on. He's a rookie that kind of want to do everything, like a Knox. Maybe they need better coaching on the side to get them going, or they need time with the ball to let them do what they want to do. Because it's not like anybody else is doing anything anyway. I think that's the split. Like, there's too high of expectation, and then it's like they already exceeded our expectation, and that's where the Knicks fans are at right now.
Well, that's going to come, and that's true, but that's going to be a big topic of discussion among Knicks fans. And that divide is going to probably get a little harsh as this season goes on. And I'm going to say this.
I mean, I blame the players for that.
No, listen.
You gotta play where you think you need to be.
Listen.
Or the Knicks are going to get rid of you because they're not going to have time for it. Because now it looks like they know what they're doing.
But the Knicks are at a win-win. So that's why the dilemma is going to be this. And I'm one of the same people. I'm torn with myself. But I'm not torn to the point of, because the casual person is going to say, okay, we gave it a try, and then they're going to start looking at the draft, and they're going to start, and that's going to be all right later on. But where we're going to pick in the draft, excuse me, it's going to be best player available for me. Just because I look at our last 4 drafts and what we was able to do, and how rather it worked out or not worked out. And the way the coach is going, the way Tibbs is going, and he got a 5-6 year contract. He ain't looking for that. So yeah, you bring in the best players, but there's nobody in the draft unless you get Cade Cunningham, one of them type of guys, and you're not getting them. It's guys that can help us, but nobody's gonna move the needle to where the Knicks are headed. And the Knicks are headed. We had it in a perfect upward trending direction. And our record's showing that even with all our flaws, we're still basically really, even between 4 and 8, and we're basically a four-place team in the East. And that can only go up for next year. Tibbs is not going to go backwards. So everybody can want all these great draft picks. Some should be able to come in and help, and they got to be able to shoot if Randall's still our guy. So I'm not looking on the futures now. We got RJ, we got Mitch, we got Knox, we got Quigley. The future is right now. So whatever veterans we get going in, the Tibbs is going to be trying to win. Tibbs is not going to be worrying about
I think
3 and 4 years down the road.
That's what Knicks fans is probably losing it right now, because at this point, I know for a fact, I think this is where they're going to go. They're going to go to, if we can get better than what we have, they're going to go for it. I say go for it. Because they can say Randall is our young core, but if somebody give us the right piece and they take Randall, they're going to do it.
Well, yeah, they'll do it.
Because at this point, Zach LaVine didn't look too bad.
Nah, but see, Joey, this is the other thing, too. This is the thing with all of our other guys, right? If you take Randall out, not to say you can't take, if you take Randall out, because where you are, look how much better you can be next year. Like, you clearly can beat anybody. You probably can beat some of them at the top 3, but you clearly can beat anybody from the 4 on back, right? You can win, you can lose, but you in there. So who knows to say if you only try to worry about the rebuilding You may not get back to this point. Now you at the point you want to be at. So let's try to go forward now with that.
Yeah,
we go forward with these young guys. You keep some young draft picks, in your pocket for the future. But we can't go back talking about we're gonna just rebuild.
I got the stats for y'all, but see, my phone is using record right now. So here's the stats. Ready?
Go ahead.
Well, Randall and the team as a whole. So the team as a whole, our top scorers, they scoring maybe 18 down to 10 points a game. And Randall's scoring 22 points average a game, the triple doubles. Now, on these other teams that are better than us or got players that are better than us, their top 3 players are averaging from 20-something points to 18 points a game. So now it's either you're going to get rid of Randall and get somebody that... No, what I'm saying is the Knicks are going to look at this. It's either we're going to get more better players for just Randall or we're going to replace the players that's only scoring 11.
Let me answer that. Let me answer that because that's not even... I see where you're going, but that's not even. Because you look at these last 4 or 5 games, we're losing by 1, 2, and 3 points, right? And a lot of times because of injuries with the other teams. So with their one All-Star, with their 2 All-Stars and our 1 All-Star, right? We're losing by 1 to 5 points a game, past so many games. So now bring in another. Now we have another All-Star. So now we got 2, y'all got 2. Or y'all got 3, we got 3. So now look at our team. So we don't have another All-Star like other teams got.
I'm talking about
right. So you're looking at them. I know, but you're looking at them other guys. But you're looking at them other. You don't have to give up Randall to get there. You got to add to that, and that's the thing.
I said you got to add, but I said you got to either give up
you're bringing one more All-Star.
Giving up. So if they say we take this All-Star, but we want RJ, what's gonna happen then?
I'm not saying give up. I'm just saying you got to make your decisions. You as a shrewd GM and president, you got to match the other GM and president's frequency when it comes to that. You just can't be got all the time. Sometimes you got to get somebody. Masai Ujiri, he'll get you. Sam Presti, he'll get you. You got to be, David Griffin. You know what I'm saying? They'll get you. They'll catch you as a young GM slipping. And they'll dangle something in front of you. You got to be that. But we add an All-Star to what we got. Now look at us compared to the other teams. So now we might not be, 4 to 8. Now we might be 1 to 4. We're right there knocking on the door. So to break it all up. But now to your other point though, to replace just Randall with another, and I'm gonna say because Randall's a mediocre All-Star. So to replace him with another mediocre All-Star, right? Randall handles our ball, you could give or take or say 70% of the time, right? So that means all of our other players are essentially, even though they play starter minutes, they're all essentially part-time players for the amount of time they touch the ball. So now you bring in another Levine to replace a Randall, people like that. And now those guys got to handle the ball maybe twice as much. They may not be ready for that. They may be at a point where the amount of time they get the ball is what they can handle because Randall used so much of the bulk of the ball.
So back to my old point is maybe he handled the ball a little bit too much. Maybe if RJ get the ball enough. Maybe if Knox can handle the ball.
I'm not knocking that.
So that's what I'm saying.
I'm not knocking that. But
I'm saying next year, I think this is what they're going to look at unless they got a plan to get 2 All-Stars on the Knicks without no hesitation. And we get our draft pick. Then it's all right, this conversation is irrelevant. But for right now, I'm thinking if it's going to be tough again, it's going to either be we got to change this or we got to change that. Somebody not making it.
Yeah, it's going to be some changes because Tibbs
might not be no Mitch.
Tibbs proved that his formula is working, and you need better players. Let's face it. The way he's playing, the way he got the Knicks playing, he get better players. I mean, come on. I was watching something the other day from an interview. I watched it the other day, but the interview was 4 years ago, where Larry Brown was saying that the Knicks gave up on him way too fast, and that if you kept me, we would have gotten better players, and if you kept me, we would have been winning very quickly. This is what Larry Brown was saying, even though he seemed like he was out of his mind, the way he's talking now, he
didn't have the front court.
Isaiah was trying to do what he was doing.
I'm talking, we really have.
But Tibbs is not going backwards.
But the team we got with the Nets having, we ain't played Durant and them as a whole yet, but what everybody else got, we doing pretty good. You know
Right.
what I mean?
So add another art. My only caution with another star with Randall, and we have to have another star, is that Randall handles the ball so much. So let's just hypothetically say, right? And it's not even a far-fetched hypothetical, but let's just hypothetically say, in free agency, now the Knicks prove they can win. And let's just say, like, Kawhi is a free agent. We're not worrying about who coming and who not coming. We're just saying. And Kawhi handles the ball a lot. So Kawhi and Randall, can Randall play off the ball again and be effective? He might can't. So those are the type of questions you would have to ask if you're keeping Randall with another star. I'm talking about impact. But Randall's whole game is standing around waiting for the ball. You know, if you think about it, he doesn't really cut that much. Sometimes he may run, but he doesn't. He's almost getting that James Harden effect.
I mean, it's not even James Harden. He Paul George.
That's the kind of star you got to bring in.
I'm talking about when you can get, if you take Randall out right now, somebody gonna step up at the next star. That's all I'm saying.
Oh no, somebody be a star, but
I'm not, like I said, I'm not discrediting Randall because, like, yeah, he is getting triple doubles. He is up there with the other all-stars point-wise, but it's not an impact. That's all I'm saying. You can get triple double all you want, but we lost.
Well, yeah.
What did that? When Melo was getting triple doubles and then double doubles, everybody said, "Oh, he ain't that good." Well, Randall's doing it now. All of a sudden, like, come on. That's my only thing. I'll be looking at it overall. Like, y'all be tripping. Y'all be tripping.
All right, but anyway, we there. We there knocking on the door. All right. Just something else I was thinking. It's funny. I was thinking about. I wrote down something yesterday, and then this morning when I was looking through my phone, I don't know if it was the Daily News or the Post, and it came out with. I just saw the headline. Just said RJ is something ready or whatever it is for Ja Morant, and so it tied into what I want to talk about today. When I was telling somebody early in the week that the big three, as we know it, is coming to an end soon. And why the Knicks will never have a big three. So, and then two reasons. Like, one, the big threes are made up of veteran players trying to latch on to each other and play together and chase the ring and, before they go out. And then in part that helped that is at some point the NBA is going to do away, with the veteran buyout, that what they call the veteran fire sale, where a former all-star veterans go to, get bought out and then end up adding to already powerhouse teams. So at some point now they're going to probably try to figure that out and do away with that. But my reason for saying too, the Knicks will never get a big three, and for that same headline that I saw today, is that these young guys, like LeBron and them, you give or take 3 to 3 years, 4 or 5 years, they on their way out. Maybe not so long for some of them, but maybe quicker rather, but basically they're on their way out. And these young guys, they want to go at each other's throat. Like you seen with, what's my man on?
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, you see, like, so they ain't carrying that I want to play with you stuff. I want to be the man. Like, they all want to be. Donovan Mitchell, they all want to be the man. Trae Young said he want to be the man. Luka want to be the man. So they ain't trying to all play together and put these super powerhouse teams in order. So when this grind right now run out of the big three, so then the big three essentially is going to be over. Now you might still have a big twos, but I think it's going to go back down to not even with the 80s. I think it's going to go back down to like in the 70s, where you're going to have that one real superstar and a bunch of real good players. And that's how,
These young players understand because they know if I go over there with LeBron, I'm not playing.
Well, plus they're hungry. They want to beat LeBron.
If I go over there to the Nets, I'm not.
They're not tied to LeBron. Those younger guys
if I go
coming
to the
in.
Grizzlies, I might get some playing. You know what I mean?
But they're not tied. But they're not tied to LeBron. Like that. They coming in. They think they LeBron.
Like, look at Jokic. Somebody went over there. Aaron Gordon went over there to play with him. I think they won like 6 games straight.
Yeah, but even with that, with me, Denver and Phoenix, I love them teams. Great to watch, well coached, but you're not going nowhere.
I'm talking about they not, but
yeah,
I'm saying like players are going to start going over there because they know they're going to get played.
Yeah, but it'll be good players, right? Yeah. Right. You'll have that one real superstar, and then you'll get those really good players because don't nobody want to be teaming up, and I got to look at you and I came out of class before you or after you, and you the man, and I'm not Robin, I'm Batman, and that's how they feel, and that's a good thing for the league too.
I mean, that's what the Pelicans is going through, because like, who is the guy?
I mean, but again, you could say the same thing though with Minnesota. You know, Edwards, he ain't thinking about Cat.
Yeah, he's not.
He doing his thing. Cat might be the odd man out.
Yeah, Cat
the way
secondary over
there. Yeah. So that's the new wave of the new young guys. So that's why the Big Three era is coming to an end.
Damn, I wish we would have got him.
You know, I mean, it's hindsight on all of that.
I mean, I don't think he would have looked good on the Knicks, but him and Randall would have been clashing.
Well, right now we at a point where the Knicks are training to be in one of the top teams in the NBA when I say the near future, I mean next year. The way that we're being coached. So you put better players in everybody's position, give or take. You know, what if Bullock was the old Bullock from other teams that just like was a sniper?
Well, I love his defense right now.
Yeah, but what if he was a real sniper, like he's starting to show, you know, because now Randall's looking for him. They talking now. You can tell by the way he's coming off. He's coming off those screens or those back cuts knowing he's getting the ball. Big difference in the way you shoot. So what if he was that for us on a consistent basis? Like, wow, what if Bert can't do anymore? You know, RJ going to come back with even a tighter jumper. But who knows, who's going to be there. So the Knicks looking good in that sense. And then if it all fell apart, even if it all fell apart, which I hope it don't this year, Tibbs' formula is give me better consistent players at some of these positions. And look what I'm going to do for you. Because he ain't giving up on the defensive side of the ball. So now with a whole year and summer to think about it, hopefully you bring in a right-hand man that can stand beside you and be like, okay, in this situation, this is what we got. This is what we could do. You know?
When he quickly come back next year, he's going to be a problem.
Oh, he's going to be a big problem. A real big problem. You know, and having Kenny Payne back too is going to do wonders. But now, again, the draft is going to get a whole lot of talk. The prospects. We're going to get into that as the time goes on. I think, and we'll do our due diligence just as, you know, somebody who's trying to bring you some Knick news. But even in the meantime, like even me, I like looking at Legion of Knick podcast. You can check them out. They're going to do a thorough background on all the players. I haven't watched that many games this year, but when it get time to where we might be picking and what we'll need and who's available, we're going to bring you some of that news. But you can check out some of those podcasts and get some of the information right now. For me, it's too soon.
We might have to bring Uncle Bobby on some of those episodes.
Yeah, we're going to have to call Bobby up and get the 4-1, like same thing like with Quickly.
Uncle Bobby, my boy Eon, shout out to you.
Yeah, the people like that, they know they college basketball.
G, you too far, but I know you watching college basketball, but...
Yeah, normally I'm on it, but this year I'm just so fixated on where the Knicks could be. You know, it just consumed everything about me. I know I love Cade Cunningham, but he's so far out of the reach for us. You can't do nothing about that. But, you know, this week, well, we'll see y'all next week because we have a game tonight. And so that should be a big battle between RJ and Morant. But Ja, I don't know, Ja tearing it up too. So we'll see. All right, anything, Joey?
Nothing, man. Hit that like button, subscribe.
All right, and then two, please, as you're watching, hit the like button for us. But you also can catch us on Instagram. We put up daily things, you know, just to keep it going through the week. All right? Share with a friend.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Peace.